So casually keep diving into concrete, so bittersweet, huh? Keep losing sleep while driving in the backseat. What's left of me? Drowning in what feels just like an ocean. Negativity is getting closer. Hard to keep the heat when it gets colder, you know. Sometimes everything just gets hard. Sometimes everything just gets harder. Feeling like I'm missing some parts. Days just keep on getting much darker. Even when I'm down in the lower, I remember what you were saying. Sometimes all you need is a spark. Maybe just a better kind of bitter. Lose gravity, I'm swimming in the quicksand. Up to my knees. Keep losing sleep, I'm manic dream at midnight. So hard to please. Drowning in what feels just like an ocean. Negativity is getting closer. Hard to keep the heat when it gets colder, you know. Sometimes everything just gets hard. Sometimes everything just gets harder. Feeling like I'm missing some parts. Days just keep on getting much darker. Even when I'm down in the lower, I remember what you were saying. Sometimes all you need is a spark. Maybe just a better kind of bitter. Think about the stuff we play. How I'd rather do that instead. I keep screaming out loud from the top of my lungs, baby, ooh. Think about the stuff we play. How I'd rather do that instead. I keep screaming out loud from the top of my lungs, baby, ooh. Think about the stuff we play. How I'd rather do that instead. I keep screaming out loud from the top of my lungs, baby, ooh. Think about the stuff we play. How I'd rather do that instead. Keep screaming out loud from the top of my lungs, baby.
This is too smooth. I honestly didn't even really want to say anything on this, but that's what the people want. That's what I came here for. So we're gonna get into it. I like my coffee black, white too. Don't turn this into no controversy. It's my boo. I can make $250,000 off a haiku, and I can make another quarter off it times two. If it's money on the table, I'll be on it like Bobby or Epic. You peep the aesthetic, it's hard to forget it. I hear you talking, but you're hardly right. I'm the voice of your prototype. Summertime and then why? Summertime and then why? It's too cool. Get the drop tops out. Summertime and then why? It fits right. I was over here. Summertime and then why? Summertime and then why? I'm talking 6 a.m. tea times. 18 with the mayor talking land banks. I waited for it, gotta get mine. Snag a seat up at the table if my man can't. Heading to a meeting worth $1 million with no briefcase. Just my mind in a free state. I got a plan through a vision, but it takes time. I'ma make mine. Summertime and then why? Yeah. Summertime and then why? Yeah. You know the drill by now. Summertime and then why? Get everything together, get the squad together, get the gang together. Summertime and then why? Summertime and then why? Started in the back, go If it's not, run the front, call the shots, make the deals, know the deal, know what's up. Too much for the books, then I put it in a tuck. Too much for the tuck, then I give it to my love. Once I make a million, man, a mil won't be enough. Watch me fake the struggle while I get it off the hush. Now it's jet blue miles, Rolex dials, frowns turn to smiles. Summertime and then wild. Now as you come to an end, summertime and then wild, and it falls upon us. I want you to bring that energy summertime and wild, and run that thing back. Yeah. Until next year. Summertime and then wild. Yeah. And wild. Summertime and then wild. Yeah. We gone.
Comms check. Comms check. Look like we back in the building. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy JD, aka Mr. December, and we are back with another video you are guaranteed to remember, y'all. Here we go. I told y'all I was coming back for a part 2. I had no choice but to do it. So welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, welcome to the channel. If you have been here before, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy JD, aka Mr. December. Shout out to you. Just ask Shar. I've got questions. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it tonight. I am going to drop the link if anybody wants to come up and discuss some thoughts. Thank you so much, Cool Cat, for letting me know. We are going to open up the chat, and we are going to definitely give you all a chance to express your thoughts and feelings as well, right? So what I want to do right now is tell you what we are talking about. Y'all, this is a part 2 to the live stream that we did on Tuesday. So, it's got to be something good if I'm coming back on a Thursday. You understand what I'm saying? What are we talking about? We're talking about April Mason saying being called an independent woman is not a flex. On the other hand, we have had Princella on Tuesday that was saying quite the opposite. So tonight I'm going to do much of what I was going to do Tuesday. But before we get into it, y'all, I want to give a huge shout out to all of my day one supporters, all of my people that has been here since day one, those that continue to show me support, that hold it down no matter what, that tries their best to be here anytime I come on. Thank you so much for all of your support, and thank you for my new supporters. It's been a lot of comments, a lot of things back and forth, but those of you that are supporters, thank you so much. And those of you that are detractors, thank you so much as well, because we're opening up conversation. Day one supporters, people like my man Cool Cat, people like my man Eugene Steele, people like L. Nixon, the voice of reason. Those are people that I call my day ones, my ride or dies. I really want to appreciate them and let them know how much it means to me for them to support me. And my number one supporter, I got to give a huge shout out to my wife. Y'all already know what it is. Big ups to the replay viewers. If you are watching this on the replay, please don't forget to give this video a like and comment your thoughts down below. Y'all, you see over my shoulder here, I have a copy of my book that I wrote. It is called God's Remedy for Anxiety. And if you look in the description, the link for that book is in the description. It is available on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and anywhere that you get your reading material from. Is that it? I think so. Oh, my Facebook group. The link to the Facebook group is in the description, I do believe. And if it's not, I'll put it down there. Okay, no need to worry. I will put it down there if it's not in there. Let's get right into it. So, let me know in the chat if you were here from Tuesday. Let me know in the chat if you were here from Tuesday.
Now, before I get into April Mason, right? She she says that being called a single, a strong, independent woman is not a flex. Thank you so much for letting me know that all my links are present in the description. Thank you so much. There is the confirmation right there. So, we were talking about uh, the independent woman. April Mason says that that mantra is not a flex, and she does not want to be called an independent woman. Where does that come from? Well, over the last several decades, the mantra or the statement that I am a strong, independent woman has been sort of like a badge of honor, if you will. I remember Bootsy, Little Bootsy came out with that song. This is where everybody get it from. IEIINDEE IDEPENDENT. You know what? Y'all know how to spell. Independent. You know what that means? You know, she got her own house. I got her own house. All of that stuff, right? And then Neo was it came out with a song years ago, Miss Independent. Wanna come in, she got, and it started to be a thing that this is what men want, but no, it was a hoax. It was a hoax. And being a strong, independent woman, you're supposed to be able to take care of yourself, right? Right. You are supposed to be able to take care of yourself. So the thing or the discussion comes in more about being strong and independent and being a single mother as well. Shout out to all the single mothers out there. We know it is not an easy task. However, we want to say over here that that is not what we're pushing. We're pushing two-parent households over here. We are better together than we are apart. And one of my arguments on Tuesday was that some women, not all, some women decided to have or go with the government assistance over being a man or over being with a man, right? And I have the exhibits here to prove it. I have the exhibits here to prove it. I am going to share the screen right now. Here it is. All right. I've got several exhibits, y'all. So y'all bear with me. Let's get right into it. Here we go. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear this in the comment section.
Michelle Woods. Black people in America have long worked to lessen the gap between whites when it comes to building wealth. Slavery, redlining, and even the family dynamic within the home have all played a role in making the task more difficult to complete. Government assistance was created in the 1930s to solve a temporary issue. However, society showed that these benefits could be necessary long term. As time has gone on, government assistance became a mainstay in many Black households to help make ends meet. With many of the Black homes receiving government assistance being headed by single Black women, questions come into play about just how beneficial this would be for Black people. There's no denying that Black people live in poverty at higher rates than whites, and that government assistance does help with food, rent, and other necessities each month. On the other side of the spectrum lies the issue of broken homes and the poverty that comes from receiving government assistance, ironically enough.
Ironically enough, the poverty that comes with receiving government assistance. Now, another thing that I want to point out is that it is not just poverty, meaning the level of income that you earn, but it is also a poverty mindset. It's also a poverty mindset, which is what we want to get people to get out of. We don't need to be stuck in this poverty mindset to where we think that all people of color are poor or that all people of color have to live a certain way. If you want to change your situation, the first thing you're going to have to do is change your mind. You are going to have to change your mindset. And y'all hear it right here. Y'all hear it right now. Y'all hear it right here. She says that the government assistance has ruined the black family. Okay? Let's keep going.
Considering both sides, the million-dollar question becomes, did government assistance ruin the black family? Like many things, government assistance was given sparingly, if at all, to black families in the early 1900s. In 1935, following the Great Depression,
all right, let me stop you here. Now, I believe somebody in the comments was saying on Tuesday that, oh, yeah, welfare started in the early 1930s or whatever. Yes, it did. And it is here. The proof is here. But my point was and still is the fact that it wasn't given to black people at all. Not at the first, right? Shout out to my man Cool Cat. He says, absolutely right. Got to decide to be a victor rather than the victim. That is absolutely right. We don't play the victim Olympics over here. Shout out to Barbara. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. So, at first, when welfare came about, it was not given to black people, right? Let's keep going.
President Franklin D. Roosevelt established the Social Security Act of 1935 with intentions of assisting the elderly, dependent children, and those who had lost their jobs as a result of the Depression. Despite the fact that black families were clearly more impoverished overall, the assistance given out overwhelmingly went to white families. Information taken from the Child Support Hustle revealed that, with the New Deal, state legislators began to pass bills that supported single mothers called Mother's Pension. Since the states operated these programs, administrators were not regulated by federal government. The lack of governing of the Mother's Pension Program meant that states could deny services and money to qualifying black mothers. This aspect of the law caused great issues as it would set the precedent for caseworkers and states to set forth even more provisions in order to keep black families from receiving government assistance or giving up something of equal value in order to receive such help. While the practice was illegal with no penalty for continuing it, the tactic became more common, allowing caseworkers to essentially control people's lives. Rules regarding a suitable home were enacted without giving black.
All right. Did y'all hear what she just said? That was very important. Through the laws, they were really given the ability to control people's lives. Okay? I want to make that clear. It was to control people's lives. That's what the laws gave them ability to do.
Black people a clear idea of what that would entail. In the South specifically, blacks saw great pushback when it came to receiving government assistance, with states posing stipulations that discouraged a complete black family. Alabama is one state that stands out as the state independently submitted a plan in 1964 about a substitute.
All right, 1964. What did I say on Tuesday? Late 60s, early 70s, right? Mid to late 60s, early 70s. This is when it was first being allowed for black people to get this government assistance. All right, let's keep going.
Parent rule that would effectively harm black families.
Oh, let me stop right here. I'm not saying that people who get welfare are bad. That's not what I'm saying at all. But just bear with me and just pay attention. We're going to get to the good stuff.
Specifically. Aspects of the proposal stated that a child would have a substitute father, hereby disqualifying their home from receiving government assistance if a substitute father lives in the home with the child's mother for the purpose of
a substitute father. Here's where it starts. Listen.
Cohabitation, if he frequently visits to cohabitate with the mother, or if he does not frequent the home but cohabitates with the child's natural or adoptive mother elsewhere. These facts are telling as they show a direct attack on the black man by giving an ultimatum of
a direct attack on the black man.
Them being in the home, even
giving them an ultimatum whether or not to be in the home. So, it was already hard enough for black people as it was, right? But now they say, oh, you can get this government assistance, but guess what? A black man cannot be in the home. So, if you have a man, we talk about the man up here. If you have a man, no matter what time period it's in, if you have a family, a wife, let's just say a wife and two children, and you're struggling to make ends meet because the system is against you. If the system is against you, right, and you're having a hard time making a living, and then they come in and say, oh, well, we can get this government assistance, right? We can get this government assistance, but a man can't be in the home. So what the men did was they decided, well, is it better for my family to eat, or is it better for me to be here? This is the choice that black people had to make. Look at this right here. OMG, this is garbage. I tuned in for Princella. Princella's not here tonight. So if you consider trying to get our black families back together and to understand the truth, we're looking for the truth over here. So if that's not what you're over here for, then you feel free to go somewhere else. Maybe this is not the platform for you. Let's keep going.
For a short period of time versus receiving help. With the black marriage rate lowering from the 1960s on, cohabitating was
the marriage rate lowering from the 1960s forward.
Common throughout the country. While again, there could seem to be benefits in this way, statistics have proven that the creation of these single-parent homes through the type of legislation has a lasting impact. These new laws, beginning in 1964 from Alabama and other states,
beginning in 1964,
paralleled the passing of the Great Society laws passed in the same year that saw government assistance change, possibly for the worse. The Institute of Family Studies sheds light on this fact, stating it was estimated that in 1975, a household head would have to earn $20,000 a year to have more resources than what could be obtained from Great Society programs.
All right. Are y'all paying attention? A household would have to make $20,000 a year to have more than what the government could provide. Watch this.
Programs. In today's dollars, that's over $90,000 per year in earnings. That may be a reason why, in 1964, only 7% of American children were born out of wedlock, compared to 40% today. One can see.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? The marriage rate is dropping, and now more kids are being born outside of wedlock. Okay? We understand people needed help. Absolutely. We're not speaking against the people that needed help. But look at what happened. Look at what happened so they could get the help. They strategically made these laws to where you can get help, but it's at the expense of the black man being there. All right?
Through this tactic that the government purposefully incentivized these women to have more children out of wedlock as the type of money being offered.
It incentivized women to have more children outside of wedlock.
Even in more modern times, is hard to come by as a salary for anyone, much less a black man or a woman. In the early to mid 1990s, black households saw a peak when it came to fatherless homes, as nearly 70% of black families saw this as their reality. This number had remained relatively unmoved for decades before dropping back down, and there are still government programs and benefits that people know they could be in danger of losing due to other people. There have even been several black women refusing to get married in fear of losing their benefits, as they will receive more money personally from the government than they could from a job by not having the man present.
Refusing to get married, but having children because what they could get from the government was more than what they could get from the man earning the job. This is facts. The studies prove it. Isn't this what y'all asked me to do? Isn't this what y'all asked me to do? But it's still a problem. I don't understand. Now, everybody didn't abuse this, right? Some, not all. But the people who were over here from Princella on Tuesday want to paint black men with a broad brush. But now it's something different. Y'all mighty quiet. Y'all quiet tonight, boy. Y'all quiet tonight. Shout out to Born Again. I'm 62. My dad and stepmom used the low income apartment as a stepping stone to save and buy a house. He was a longshoreman. She cleaned houses. There you go. And in 2023, this still continues. Absolutely, I can connect 2023 to this because people still refuse to get married because of the government assistance, because they don't want their benefits to get cut off, right? Now, what else is it? What else is it? Some people, not all, some people, some women refuse or don't want to get better paying jobs because then that would disqualify them from their benefits. Somebody tell me I'm lying. I dare you to tell me I'm lying. If you need the assistance, okay, fine. Everybody falls on hard times, but it's not supposed to be a permanent solution. That's why our community is in shambles, because we took something that was supposed to be temporary and made it permanent in our lives. Stop giving permanent attention to things that are supposed to be temporary in your life. There are things in your life that come around that are just supposed to be for a season. This was one of them. You weren't supposed to stay in the condition that you were in, right? It was not supposed to be something permanent. It was supposed to be, like Born Again said, a stepping stone, right? But instead of it being a stepping stone and putting it away when you don't need it anymore, people made something temporary permanent in their lives. That's why we have a hard time having permanent relationships in our lives. That's why we have a hard time with marriages being permanent in our lives. Right? Y'all mighty quiet tonight in the comments. It's all right. We're going to keep doing some teaching. Let's keep going.
On the other side of the spectrum, however, statistically, these homes still end up with children living in poverty, as marriage, according to the IFS studies over time, will position these families to have more money and be able to.
Let me stop it real quick. So the men are asking to marry them. Notice what we said a few moments ago. The marriage rate was up prior to 1964 and 1965. The marriage rate was up. After that, the marriage rate went down and still continues to go down because women were refusing to get married because they wouldn't qualify for the assistance, right? So instead of getting with a black man and the black man getting together with them, the man had to make a hard decision. Well, it's better for me to not be at the home. They can get this right here if I'm not here. So it started to drive the black man out. And then the women wanted the children, but didn't want the man. Because if it's just her and the children, then the benefits come. If it's her, the children, and the man, no benefits. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Let's keep going.
to survive long term, as the two incomes, even with the women's lowering, over time would position these families to maintain. These women choosing not to marry was not a simple choice, but more so a government tactic forcing them to choose between money and family. Another major change that
A government tactic keeping them from making that decision. Now, see, it seems like to me. I'm not saying that this is what's happening with Just Ask Shar. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that everything was right and everything was perfect. Right? I'm not saying this is what you're doing, Shar. But it seems like that you're just trying to find somewhere to stick your narrative. She just said these were hard decisions that were forced upon our family. See, like I said, I'm looking to get the truth. Because once we get down to the truth, once we find the truth, then that's when our communities will start to heal. That's when we'll start to see more of our people getting married and having two family households. Okay? All right? Let's keep going.
that may or may not have played a role in damaging the Black family was the transparency needed from government assistance recipients as time went on. Welfare and other assistance would be given to those that showed need, giving the government access to bank account information and essentially one's entire life to determine eligibility. For the Black family, this would lead to a surge in improper spending and the trading of benefits for another. Selling of one's food stamps became popular in the 1980s and beyond, whether it be for cash or another benefit. With some families already receiving cash assistance on top of other benefits, the existence of these programs led some to try and find new ways to qualify in order to receive more money. While it is much more difficult today to have one government assistance program provide more money than one can make in a year, it is still very possible to combine programs to be able to provide everything a person would need. Possibly the biggest factor to consider when it comes to government assistance is how it spiked the rate of child support cases in the Black family. Once many of these women had gotten the man out of the house to receive their benefits,
Listen.
they realized quickly that this money, depending on how many children are present, would not be enough to sustain a home. Lawyers in the 1990s would even work pro bono on a case dealing with child support, giving these women more confidence in taking the father of their children to court in the 1990s would even courts notoriously gave men payments to make that were outlandish with penalties that would make it impossible for them to get the money needed. This action, unsurprisingly, would lead to an uptick in crimes committed by many Black men of the time. In a published paper by Harvard alum Fritz Foley, one can see the correlation between crime and welfare payments.
Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? All right. Let me come back. Let me go back a little bit.
In taking the father of their children to court and receiving more money. Courts notoriously gave men payments to make that were outlandish with penalties that would make it impossible for them to get the money needed. This action, unsurprisingly, would lead to an uptick in crimes committed by many Black men of the time.
Upticks in crime committed by Black men. I think I need to go back a little further.
That this money, depending on how many children are present, would not be enough to sustain a home. Lawyers in the 1990s would even work pro bono on a case dealing with child support.
Child support. So when the 90s came up, cost of living goes up, right? Things are starting to go up. Now, it's not enough for us to get the government assistance, okay? So now, let's put the men on child support. Let's put you out of our house. Let's put you out of our home. Let's get the government assistance over you. But now we want the child support from you. Instead of you coming back to the home, instead of you coming back to the house, we're gonna put you on child support. And she just said that child support was so lucrative that lawyers would even take child support cases for free. For free. Char Willie, I see you in the back. Will you do me a favor, flash your camera for me really, really quickly? You can cut it back off, and I'll bring you up momentarily. All right, there you go. Thank you so much. You may cut your camera off. Okay, let's keep going a little bit further.
Giving these women more confidence in taking the father of their children to court and receiving more money. Courts notoriously gave men payments to make that were outlandish, with penalties.
Outlandish payments. If poverty was the problem, right? Then why would they give them these payments that they can't afford? While I'm doing this, let me put a disclaimer out there. This is not to bash anyone. We are here to find the truth. We are here to figure out how to get us together and to stop having us divided. That's what I'm about over here. All right? Let's keep going.
That would make it impossible for them to get the money needed. This action, unsurprisingly, would lead to an uptick in crimes committed by many Black men of the time. In a published paper,
because if you don't have the resources, what are you going to do? If they say, oh, you got to come up with this money, or we're going to lock you up, put you behind bars, what you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Men that want their freedom, that care about their families, they're willing to do what they have to do. I'm not condoning crime, right? But they had to do what they had to do in order to try to keep their freedom.
by Harvard alum Fritz Foley, one can see the correlation between crime and welfare payments as the text reads. Analysis of daily reported incidents of major crimes in 12 U.S. cities reveals an increase in crime over the course of monthly welfare payment cycles. The jump reflects increases in crime that are likely to have a direct financial motivation, like burglary, larceny, theft, motor vehicle theft, and robbery. Taking into account the countless issues that come from having a record when it comes to making money, on top of systemic racism, especially in years past, one can see clearly how this assistance ruined the lives of many Black fathers and children, at the very least, as their fathers would.
Black fathers and Black children. What was the cause? Welfare. Shout out to Cool Cat. He says, JD, allow me to be a little more conspiratorial here, devil's advocate. Do you think the government knew this would happen or intend for this to happen to Black families? You know what, Cool Cat? I think that they did. I think that in some way that they knew that it was going to harm Black families. But what I don't think is, I don't think that they thought it was going to be as successful as it was. I do think absolutely they knew what they were doing to Black families. What I don't think they knew was how successful they were going to be at doing it. All of these years later, the same stuff is still going on. Right?
Would spend years in jail, and with the overwhelmingness of being a single parent, the children suffer as well in ways unimaginable. There can be debate about the reasoning behind.
Children suffer in single parent households. Point blank, period. It is a fact, not opinion. Children that grow up in two family households, in two parent households, are more likely to get a better education and less likely to engage in crime. These are facts, not opinion. This video this video has facts behind it and is not opinion. Okay? These are facts. This is what y'all wanted, right? Uh-huh. All right.
certain decisions Black families made. However, the need for more assistance is clear. Families selling stamps for cash, fathers being kicked out of the homes, and caseworkers who acted as an extension of the government while breaking the law all played a role on how government assistance would affect Black people. The need for assistance is obvious, especially in the present as a recession looms over society. Nevertheless, it is clear that there are major issues with government assistance that have plagued Black families for decades. If assistance is given to elevate a person in order to
Decades.
help them become
Does anybody know? Has anybody ever heard of the PPP loan? Anybody ever heard of that? Do y'all know how many people got in trouble because of the PPP loan? Because they were trying to get money. I see you, the B code. Thank you so much.
more independent, one should ask themselves if this seems like the case when it comes to Black people. With a history of struggle and suffering despite this help, it may not be a foregone conclusion that assistance ruined the Black family, but many can argue it did little to help, as Black families today see nearly half of their homes without a father and are still financially trying to catch up in society.
What do y'all think?
Stay up to date with the latest news.
All right, so there you have it. And that's not just the only exhibit that I have. That's not the only exhibit that I have. We have more that we are going to look at as well. But right now, what we're going to do is I have pinned the link to come up in the back in the top of the chat. Right, the link to come up is in the back of the chat, and we have two in the back right now. And I want to bring them up, and then we're going to go a little bit further. All right, let's bring up Char Willie and the B Code. Char Willie, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. The B Code, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing fabulous. How are you guys doing?
Outstanding. Outstanding. Thank you so much for asking. So, Char Willie, what do you have? What do you think about all of this, or what we just talked about so far?
Let's see. I had a note. Where was the note at? Substitute man. Okay. Um, when it was mentioned about the substitute man, that was referring to just a man being around the home, whoever that was, boyfriend, hookup, whatever you would want to title him.
Mhm.
And that's when I had put X in the chat room. I said, these guys weren't marrying these women. Do you think they were asking?
Yes, I do. I absolutely do. See, here's the thing. They were asking until the government assistance came along and said that the man can't be here, right? So the women were refusing to get married even if the men wanted to marry them because of the government assistance. If you're legally married on paper, you couldn't get the assistance. So in essence, that's why I say they chose the money over the family.
Do you know how much money? It was never mentioned how much money this was.
Okay, so do you remember the part where back then, late 60s, early 70s, it was, she said, the head of household would have had to make $20,000 a year to be able to earn more than what the assistance was giving them. So if you translate that for that time compared to this time, that would have been more than $90,000. How many people in America earn $90,000 plus?
Okay, so that means that mother worked to get that 20,000 to be eligible. Is that correct?
No, ma'am.
Where
That
did the 20
means
come
that
from?
what did what now?
Where did the $20,000 come from?
So, okay, that's how much, or that's the number that the head of the household, the man, would have had to make to get more than what the government assistance were paying, right? So let's just say the assistance was $19,000 a year total. a man would have to be bringing home, or the head of household would have to be bringing home $20,000 in order to have more than what their assistance was. In
Okay.
today's time, that equates to $90,000 a year. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. How many people make uh $90,000 a year? What percentage?
It's not a lot.
That's good enough. It's not a lot.
Correct.
It's like 10%, and that's not just men, women. That's everybody in the United States. So the point that I'm trying to make is, most Americans now today don't have $1,000 in their bank account. If you have $1,000 in your bank account, you are doing better than more than 50% of all Americans.
Okay. I want to go back a little bit.
Mhm.
You said that the man would have had to make more than $20,000, and you said that these men were asking to marry the women. You do agree with that, correct?
I do agree.
Okay. Um, Now, this is the interesting part. I'm not finding that a lot of the men were marrying women in general, since the rate of marriage went down, according to what you said. So, in other words, these men never found anyone to marry and make someone a wife.
No, 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 no. That's you're missing the point.
Oh, I
So
got the point. I'm just thinking, if
what?
John is with Lisa and Lisa say, "No, I don't want to marry you. I'm keep my stamps," and then John go over and like, "Oh, they go Linda over there. Hey, girl, how you doing?" And then he gets married to Linda. So I'm thinking the rate of marriage would still kind of be where it, a little bit above, if there are women that are marrying men, if the men are asking.
But see, here's the thing: more women were getting the benefits. So the benefits, you couldn't get the benefits if you were married. You understand? So, or you couldn't get the benefits if you were married or if the man was in the house. If there was a man in the house, any man. You understand what I'm saying? So let's just say, oh, uh, what is it, John and Lisa? Okay, we're gonna get together. Oh, I don't want to get married because you're gonna cut my benefits off. Okay, well, we still gonna do what grown folks do, i.e., have fun, have sex, or whatever. Oops, somebody get pregnant. Oh well, I get more benefits, but I still don't want to marry you. I still can't have you in the house. Boom, single parent household.
And I asked you yesterday, was this for all 50 states? Because this seems to be a global phenomenon according to the rhetoric I hear on YouTube.
It is national, right? In some, it was different in some states than others, right? Because she mentioned Alabama being one of the first states to start implementing those laws, right? So that's when you start to see the marriage rate in our community start to go down in 1964, 1965. Prior to then, we were married at an 80% rate, if not a little bit more. And now we have nearly 80% single parent households.
Mhm. That's pretty interesting, starting in one state. Everybody
No, no,
just,
no. I didn't say it started in one state.
no, I'm
Alabama was
saying to
one of
have,
the. I'm
right,
sorry.
right. So that's what I'm saying. I find it kind of, strange that happened and just kind of ballooned everywhere. So, but thank you so
Well,
much for your opinions.
oh well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And again, this
You're welcome.
you saw the studies. You understand? So it's not so much opinion. Yes, I have my opinions. Right? Everybody has their opinions, but this is the research that you all asked for. Right? So this is some of the stuff that I studied. So Char Willie, do you want to stay up, or you want to go down, or you want to come back? You're more than welcome to stay. You can come up anytime.
Oh, you can keep me up here. I'll disappear when time to go.
Okay, I'll keep you up for now. Okay, we have the beat code in the building. What do you think about what we're saying?
Okay, so I'm my channel, I have a channel, and I just want to say this. My channel is devoted to telling the truth,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I've been on this topic a while, and I'm the type of person to where when I see a historian, I like to ask questions. So in reference to the welfare system, there was a gentleman I spoke to, was a Black gentleman. He was in his, I want to say he was in his late 60s, maybe early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me, and I also, I did watch a documentary on it. So what he said was confirmed, right? Which is the reason I asked him the question.
Mm-hmm.
So the documentary went like this. Back in, I want to say the 60s, a lot of Black women and men did not have employment opportunities, right?
Right.
So what the government did was they offered welfare to women if they had children. So what the women did was they were begging Black men to get them pregnant so that they could get welfare. And
Oh,
there is
wow.
a documentary on this. I will find this for you and I will give it to you. I just have to find it. But yes,
I would
so
love to
they
see
were
it.
intentionally getting, I'm gonna send it to you. They were intentionally getting pregnant so that they could get some type of money because they had no way of getting money. So there's two sides to that coin. You know, it was part women and it was part men. So we both share responsibility in how we've turned out as a people, right? So when you have, I was on here, I was listening last night when you had Princella on, or the other night, I don't remember what night it was. And when she made reference to the man that left the woman that had 13 babies because he couldn't take it, he couldn't take care of them. Well, I also did a video on Margaret Sanger. So when Margaret Sanger came around with the Black man, with the birth control to help women and Black men control their birth rate or the rate of having babies, they turned her down and said that she was trying to commit genocide. Well, now here we are, years later, 13 babies, 14 babies, baby after baby, baby after baby. When they thought she was helping to commit genocide, no, she was trying to help Black people to not procreate so fast. So therefore, you have a time to think, you have a time to plan, you have a time to figure out how you're going to take care of the children that you do have instead of just recklessly popping them out. Right. So we all share a responsibility in this. Now, another thing I wanted to mention when you were making reference to the welfare and child support in the 90s. Well, I was one of those welfare mothers in the 90s. And I can tell you that in order, they changed it. So before, a lot of Black women, and not just Black women, but since we're talking about Black people, I'll leave it to Black women. A lot of Black women were going to the welfare office and they were actually protecting their boyfriends and saying, "Oh, I don't know who my baby father is," to protect them from having to name them, to have them take accountability, right? So they were just saying, "Oh, I don't know. Oh, I had a one-night stand," right? So the welfare system got crafty and they said, well, in order for you to get this welfare, you need to tell us who your baby father is. And the child support thing came automatic. So it was merged together. So it was not like Black women went to the welfare system and said, "Oh, well, I want to put my baby daddy on child support." No, they merged the welfare and child support together. So if you went to apply for welfare, you had to tell who your baby father was, so that, and they independently went after him for child support. The mother didn't even get the child support. That child support, if they did get it, if the man had anything to get, it went straight to the welfare. So it was in a sense that he was basically paying for his child to be taken care of, right? The payments were nothing. You would only get like $490 for one child, right? Then they used to double it if you had two. Then
Mm.
they stopped. They stopped doubling it. They would like maybe give you an extra 200 and then increase your food stamps, right? So the little money that they were given wasn't enough to do anything, right? So
Mm.
it was like in a sense like, dang, what you had no choice but to, you know, go to work or go back to school or do what you needed to do, because who wants to sit on welfare? But then the incentive to staying on welfare was you had low income housing, right? I've been in low income housing. My rent was, I think, $12. And then after I had my second child, my rent went down to $7. I was paying $7 for a 3 bedroom. Now, mind you, this wasn't a luxury spot. It was like the projects, right? But
Mm.
low income was still there. And then even in California, you have the projects to where the rent is very low and you can afford to pay that. And even with the low income, they cut you a check for your utilities, right? So anyway,
Mm.
I eventually did away with all that, did my schooling and got myself free of that. But yeah, it's both of our faults.
Shout
And
out
so
to you, the B code.
you got to tell the truth. You have to tell the truth and get down to the real roots, because we black men and black women have both set roots for this problem to grow like this. Right? So we're not going to resolve anything unless the truth comes from both sides. So I get tired of hearing women say, oh, the men couldn't do anything, so we had to get welfare, but on the backside of that, you had women begging men to get them pregnant so that they could get welfare, but because the system wouldn't provide them with jobs. Right?
Right.
So yeah, and that's what was happening to both men and black women.
Hmm. Absolutely. Oh, shout out to the B code. Thank you so much. And shout out to you for coming up out of that situation, right? You know,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Shout out to you for coming up out of that situation because, yeah, people do need help sometimes. And, if you need temporary help to come up out of that situation, then more power to you. You know, that's what it's supposed to be used for. And I'm so glad that you decided to come up because now we have somebody that has actually gone through it and has seen from personal experience what the system did. So I agree wholeheartedly. That notion of, oh, well, now we can just get these women pregnant. They just want us to get them pregnant and then we can leave.
Right.
And that mentality has stuck around same way the mentality with the black women has stuck around. And that's why we are here searching for the truth. I want us to get back together. I don't want us to stay separate. I don't believe in the MGTOW movement. I don't like the divest movement. I don't like this strong independent. I don't need no man. We need each other. We're better off together than we are apart. That's one of the key factors in building wealth is having two people working together. Because guess what?
Right.
Nobody's broke.
Right. Can I say something else?
Yes, please.
Um, Now, I met a gentleman years and years ago. He had custody of his son. He had Section 8. So while these men are happy that, oh, they might cut Section 8 and these women need to get off Section 8, they give Section 8 to single fathers with no felonies. So there are a lot of Black men that are raising their children that have Section 8. So these government assistance that we get, it is not exclusively for Black single mothers. If you are a Black man that has custody of your children, you can get on the Section 8 list as long as you have no felonies, right? So while we think we're just cutting the Black woman's throat, you're also cutting your brother's throats as well.
Okay, so I like what you said there, and I'm so thankful for you clearing up some misconceptions that may have been out there. Now, here's the thing with Black men. Now, you said if they have custody of the children, right?
Right.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Char Willie. If you got to drop down, thank you so much. Hopefully, we'll see you again in the future for some more healthy conversation. Thank you so much for joining us. So I almost lost my train of thought. Okay, so the Black men, the thing of it is that if Black men have custody of the kids and no felonies, right? How hard is it for men to get custody
Right.
of the children? Because let's just be
Well, the
honest.
mother
Most
pretty much, yeah,
Go ahead.
the mother has to be absent. The children would have to have been taken away and put in foster care system, and the father was at least felony free and able to get assistance to take care of the child, right? Or she lost him in a custody battle, right?
Mm,
So there are a lot of men out there that are Black men out there that are taking care of their children, right? That do
right.
care about their children. When I lived in Missouri, like I was originally from California, I went to the Midwest, so I went to Missouri, and I was floored. I was floored because in California, it's a melting pot. So you have all different nationalities. You see all different kind of things. It's club town, whatever. And so the stereotype was that Black men don't take care of their kids. Black men are not with Black women. Um, Black people are lazy. Black men are lazy. So when I went to the Midwest, I was floored because that everything that you see Hispanics doing in California and in all these different places, if you go to Missouri, that's what Black men are doing. They're doing the construction. They're working in the libraries. They're doing everything. They're working the fast food. Women as well. And then what really, really, really shocked me was to see so many Black families together, right? Black men, whether they're driving in a car, stopping at a gas station, or whether they're walking down the street, catching the bus, you saw Black man, Black woman, Black child, right? So a lot of this stuff that we are being fed is garbage. Okay. It depends on what state you're in, what's going on. Like for example, if you stay in Las Vegas, okay, you pretty much you're not going to see a whole lot of families because this is party town, right? In California, everybody wants to hang out at the beach. Everybody wants to go clubbing. Everybody wants to, hang out at the malls, the fashion show. It's like the single life, right? But if you go to like Missouri, Topeka, Kansas, it's like family town, right? And nobody
Mm,
is judging you that you are with your Black family. Nobody is trying to keep you from your Black family. And actually, the government in Missouri, as long as you were a couple and you at least had one child together, they would give the welfare for the entire family. So in Missouri, they don't separate the family. If the man can't find a job and he is there actively with his child and with his baby mama, they give the welfare to the family. So there is no,
Mhm.
you can't have a man to get welfare. No, you can keep your man and get this welfare at the same time. So a lot of this stuff is garbage. People have not done their research. They have not lived in these different states to see how the states differ and how they do them differently. So like I said, I mean, it was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. I just loved being outside, right?
Mhm.
And not to mention the help that Black people extended to each other. Black women, Black men, being able to be in the same spaces together without fighting, arguing, all this garbage, trash talk, none of that was going on. It was like the whole environment was about family. I was like, well, where have I been? Like, they are feeding us a bunch of BS.
Mhm.
Come on. So, like I said, it just depends on where you are, in what state you're in, what your goals are, what's the goal for the state, what's everybody doing in that state. So you can't go to a party town expecting to live like a family. No, everybody wants to live fancy, footloose, and free, right? So yeah, don't listen to it.
I hear exactly what you're saying, and I'm so thankful that you decided to come up. Now, the thing of it is you said in the Kansas area, Missouri area, that area in the Midwest is kind of known as the Bible Belt, Bible Belt, right?
Um, I wasn't on that spectrum, that end of the
Mm,
spectrum. I was pretty
mm,
much, I was making my way back to the West Coast when I lived in Missouri. So it
mm,
was just
mm,
kind of like, just I was there for, I was there, I think, for 8 years, right?
mm,
So
mm,
I pretty much, minded my business, had my own goals and different things like that. So I really didn't do the church thing. But I'll tell you
mm.
one thing about the church in the Midwest over there, they help the mess out of people.
That's awesome.
Okay,
That's awesome.
that Midwest is one of the most humanitarian places I've ever been. So I mean, you people, you got to get out, you got to branch out. If the kind of lifestyle that you want to live, you have to pick that state that's conducive, to how you want to live and be a family.
Absolutely. I agree. Do you think that it would be reasonable to conclude that religion and having strong family values will contribute to more families being together?
Most definitely, most definitely. If you are, well, I have my own view about the Bible.
Hmm.
um you pretty much, if you lack self-control, if you and not so much self-control, but we're going to add self-control in there because let's face it, that's one of the reasons religion was created. If you are looking to build your family on a solid foundation with rules, regulations, reading the stories of people that did it before you as an example, and knowing that leaning on God is basically one of the best things you can do, I say go for it. So I think
Absolutely.
it's very important. It's very important. It's very important.
Excellent. I like everything you're saying, the B code. Do you have any other thoughts you want to share? I usually only go an hour, but this is a special week, y'all. So we're gonna go a little overtime today. I don't want my title or my thumbnails to be just clickbait. So the next portion of the show, we're gonna go to the Godfather, Kevin Samuels, and we're gonna have a little fun. Do you want to stay up, or you just gonna hang out, or what do you want to do, the B code?
No, I'll drop down. I've had a long day, but I just really wanted to, I just wanted to add my perspective, some enlightenment, and I do have something else I wanted to add.
Go
And
ahead.
it's so in speaking with my historians, back in when black men came from the war, right? You remember the heroin epidemic that
Yes.
black men faced? Okay, so this is what I was told by a person that was in the armed forces. So when black men went to war, and you can also look this up. I've looked it up too. I've done my research. Um, when black men went to war and they got injured, there, of course, this myth, they have the myth with the black woman saying that she doesn't feel pain, so we're going to, do medical procedures on her without anesthesia. Well, they felt that same way about black men. So when they would get hurt in the war, they wouldn't adequately medicate them with pain medication, right? They lean more towards, the men of non-color. They made sure they were not in pain. So what ended up happening is when the black men came back from the war, of course they had missing limbs, they had injuries, they were
Hmm.
still hurt, which required them to, need pain medication. So since they didn't have access to it, this is what put them on heroin. So that heroin epidemic destroyed a lot of our black men too, right? So it wasn't just crack that destroyed the black community. It was heroin also. It started with heroin. So,
Hmm.
when you think you're getting a man that's clean and sober, no, he has a needle problem, right? He has a
Hmm.
snorting problem. He's trying to resolve some pain issues that he has, or he's trying to keep himself out of pain. So a lot of things have been done to black people to bring us to where we are today. Right? So you got to go a lot of times you have to go far back. When I do my research, I go far back.
Hmm.
Far back. Okay? So that was a lot of the things that was happening back then. Okay, but that's it.
Oh,
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
no problem to be cold. Thank you so much for coming up and enlightening us. You can come back anytime. And if one of the mods would please drop the B Codes channel in the chat, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much to B Code. We will
Okay,
see
thank you.
you
Thank
hopefully
you.
in the future.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. All right. So now let's get to let's have a little fun. Did some teaching tonight, and what I want to continue to do some teaching, but we're gonna have a little fun. We're gonna have just a little bit of fun. All right, now we're going to go to a stream from the Godfather himself, and y'all give me just a moment while I pick up this clip, and we'll be right back. Give me just 1 minute.
It's not hard to fool me. 'Cause I'm addicted to the good life. Yeah. Either way, I fall. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. To the edge of it all.
I hope that didn't trigger somebody. I know some of y'all, when y'all heard that music, you was like, "Oh no!" Oh. Let's get right into it, y'all. we are bringing up the Godfather himself, Kevin Samuels, and the title of this video that we're going to look at is called "Do Modern Women Need to Be Independent?" All right, here we go. Thank you so much, Cool Cat. That's why we need to stop it. All right, bring up my screen. Oops, there we go.
Can't really see.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. I will give you 5, 6. I'll give you 5, normally 6 on a good day. Your average could be cute, which is most women. So you haven't separated yourself in any feminine ways, though, right?
Right, I'm on track.
What do you mean you're on track?
As far as the standards, right?
Well, so the thing is,
your general question standards.
yeah. So pretty much you're an average you're an average woman. You're not overweight, which is a good thing, but you don't work out. And at 25, you haven't chosen to learn any of the things that you've heard that men value, like a woman who can cook, who's domesticated, who's feminine, who's where would you rank your femininity if it was a grade?
Between what?
A, B, C, D, F. No, if it was a grade, what letter grade would you give your femininity? A, B, C, D, F.
Can I say a B minus?
So your femininity is above average.
I would say so, yes.
Okay. So what are we talking about? This notion of independent don't need a man. Men, we don't have this notion of we don't need women. We know that we need women, right? But what we want to get rid of is this notion of I don't need a man. And that's what April Mason was talking about. She's saying that it's not a compliment to be a strong, independent woman. Women did that because back then, in some situations, they had to, right? The father died, got injured, or something like that. It was something that never was supposed to be passed down. Okay? If it happened for one generation, it was not supposed to happen to the next generation. We were not supposed to pass that down. Okay? So when men hear women say, "Oh, I don't need a man," that automatically makes us back up. And one of the talking points is that, oh, well, it makes them insecure that I don't have to lean and depend on him. No, that's not the case. It makes you sound masculine. It makes you sound overly masculine, and men like femininity. Okay? That's where April Mason comes in at. She says that she was in her masculine for so long. And so now she's learned how to embrace her femininity, and her results changed. Let's keep going.
Okay. How often do you wear dresses?
Whenever I find the opportunity to.
It's called life.
Okay.
When was the last time you wore a dress?
So pretty much I dress up anytime I go to see my my male friend.
Okay.
So
I don't know what that is, man. So just give me a frequency.
7 days out the week, I'm trying to look my best. If I'm coming out the house.
I ask you specifically dresses.
Dresses, okay.
Answer the question, please, ma'am.
You don't. Thank you.
Okay. So she can't tell how often she wears a dress, right? You can wear whatever you want to. But all we're saying is that men want to see women in dresses, right? You can wear a dress to go to the grocery store. And don't get it twisted. I'm not talking about a long black evening gown with the split up the leg, with the back out, with the straps and all that. That's not what I'm talking about. Y'all know, you ladies know that they have these dresses that, something that you can just throw on and just go. What did Jody say in Baby Boy? When he was selling those dresses, anybody seen that movie? What did he say? You could just put this on and just go. Right? Let's keep going.
Okay, no.
You don't. So when you can't tell the truth directly and you say these, you're just telling yourself. Your male friend, this is what you call a boyfriend or somebody you're talking to? What?
Somebody I'm talking to.
How long have you been talking to this person?
It's been a while.
What does that mean?
About 3 years.
Okay, do y'all see what he's asking direct questions? But it takes a little bit to get a direct answer. That's why men get frustrated sometimes in communicating, right? Communication is another key that's gonna get us back together.
It's not talking to somebody. That's a full-on damn relationship.
3 years.
Well,
This isn't the okay.
That's
so
why I'm here. I'm trying to figure out.
Well, you're trying to figure out getting to give up your independence for somebody you've been with for 3 years?
Because at first I didn't fully give it up because I didn't know what independence was to give up. I'm only 25. And so with your show just coming out.
Does he want to marry? Okay, I need to ask you. How old is he?
He's turning 38.
Does he want to marry you?
We haven't talked about it.
See, I'm gonna hit it myself. And that's what we're talking about. Real men pay attention, ladies pay attention. A man that is dating with intention is going to express that he's dating with intention. He's going to express that he wants to be married. He is going to express that he wants children. He is going to express that he wants a family. It doesn't take him that long to figure out. If you've been with somebody 3 years and you don't even know if you're dating, talking, whatever it is in a relationship, situationship, ladies, do you know what you should do? Dip. Those are the men that are stringing you along. And at 38 years old, a man should know what he wants out of life. Period. So that's what we say that's what we mean when we say pick better. Why would you be with somebody 3 years and you want to be married and y'all haven't talked about marriage? Shout out to Cool Cat. Let's keep going.
So you're not dating with intention.
What did I just say? Dating with intention.
I think I'm dating with intentions, but I think because I'm so younger than him, I think that's what kind of throws him off a little bit because of the
You're not dating with intention.
Okay.
So she's throwing the age. Again, at 38 years old, you should know what you want. 38, she's 25. Okay, that's what? A 13-year difference. She says she wants to be married and dating with intention. But what she's saying and what they're really doing, it doesn't add up. It's not adding up. So if you are with somebody for 3 years and you don't know what's going on, you're not dating with intention.
What is your intention? You've been there 3 years.
To get married.
Okay, but ma'am, you don't even. Okay, you said you can't be dating with intention. You said this person isn't even a boyfriend. You said somebody you're talking to for 3 years. You're not dating.
He was a boyfriend, and then at some point in the relationship, something happened and that clicked off.
What do you mean something happened?
I'm not sure what happened. I don't know what happened. He just,
ma'am,
stop the cap,
ma'am. The man. Okay, I'm asking you about what you're doing. And all you can speak to is about what you're 25 years old, been with somebody for 3 years. You can't even call him a boyfriend, but you're telling me you're dating with intention. You absolutely are not. You're dating with hope.
okay.
And what you're saying is the relationship has gone backwards.
Yes, it has.
He doesn't want to marry. Excuse me?
I said, yes, it has, and I'm not going to lie.
Well, then and you can't even say he wants to marry you. So my question is, what are we talking about giving up independence? Because as it stands right now, to say you're right at the average part of the bell curve is fair. What's so great about giving up average? What's so great about giving up? I mean, what are you really giving up?
Right.
See, so most women will come in and say, I've got a career, I've got this, I've got that.
I'm a PhD.
I mean, it's like, what are you really giving up? A job at UPS? No offense. You can take care of yourself. But you've not put anything into developing yourself. And it sounds to me, unfortunately, like this relationship isn't going anywhere. And now you're looking at what the market is. And you got to be out there again. And it sounds to me like there's a problem.
Well, I think I'm not ready to put myself out there, and I'm not leaving this relationship because I guess I'm trying to figure out.
It's not a relationship, ma'am.
Okay, well, the situation I'm in, I'm trying to figure out how did it backtrack, and how.
If you're with somebody for 3 years, the situation didn't backtrack. It never was on track to begin with.
Why? Why does it matter? Okay, why does it matter why
the next relationship?
No. Okay. Okay, I see what you're trying to say. You're trying to put. Okay. That's why when you ladies waste a lot of time. You're not leaving. So you'll just continue to waste your time.
And this is what we don't want you to do. Pick better so you don't waste your time. I believe one of the ladies asked me on Tuesday night, "Oh, have you dated a lot of women?" Da, 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 da. And we were talking about the situation, and I said, "Yeah, I have dated a few before I got married, but here's the thing: none of those relationships, once I came to my understanding of who I was as a man and what I wanted, and I had a clear vision of what I wanted and where I was going, if it got to the 6-point mark and I couldn't see myself being with that woman long term, I cut it off. I didn't lie to them. I didn't cheat on them. I didn't drag them along for however long. I went ahead and cut it short. Because guess what? I didn't want to waste anybody's time. In addition to that, I didn't want my time wasted either. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? I'm not sure. Let's keep going.
And while you do that, you will not develop any. You will continue to have sex with this man, continue to bond to him, and continue to and only further elongate the time it's going to take you to get over this situation.
Wow.
Wow.
That's deep. That's deep. Has anybody ever heard that it takes you at least half the time to get over somebody than y'all were together? What am I saying? So let's just say 3 years, okay? Let's just say she cut it off today. She was with this man for 3 years. It would take her a year and a half to get over him completely. So if you were with somebody for 4 years, the experts say that it'd take you 2 years to get over that person. So if you were with somebody and the relationship wasn't going anywhere for 4 years, And now it takes you another 2 years before you can fully get over somebody and fully be ready for another relationship. Guess what? Now you've wasted 6 years. If you were 30, pay attention, ladies. Pay attention, men. If you were 30 when it started, and now 6 years later, guess what? Now you're 36. You've wasted those years, and guess what? Now you're in geriatric pregnancy. This is not my opinion, this is facts. We don't want you to waste time. Time is something that you absolutely cannot get back, right? My time became precious to me, right? So once I started to switch my mindset, hey, you know what? I don't want my time wasted, so I'm not going to waste anybody else's time either. And then the quality of my life changed. It starts with the mindset. If you need help for a stepping stone, fine. Nothing wrong with that. We all need a little help sometimes. But don't make that mentality permanent.
Nothing you're going to learn about why this thing fell apart with him that's going to help you in the next relationship. He's 38, you're young. Y'all were just hooking up.
Okay.
First off, I don't think a man that old should be dating a woman your age, unless he planned on marrying her anyway.
Right.
Because he was 35, you were 23, 22?
Yes.
I don't think a guy should be dating a woman your age, unless he's planning on marrying her. But you didn't ask, and he didn't say anything. So y'all were just doing y'all's thing. Can't control him. But the bottom line is, once this situation is over, if I Thanos snapped my fingers today and this was over, and you could clear your head and figure out everything that went wrong, and you got all the answers to the test, the question still remains, now what? Now you're on the market again. And what are you going to bring?
Oh man.
And that's the problem. Nothing. The person I talked to, I graduated from high school, I work at UPS, I can make macaroni.
Uh-huh.
That ain't
so development.
You want to be married, right?
Yes, that's the end goal.
You want children?
Yes.
How many children?
I don't know, 3 maybe.
3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if a man were to marry you, what would he get as a wife outside of a womb?
Loyalty, someone who is willing to hold his back, help him out whenever he, can't go to work. Someone just to read the fine print, to understand, when he's had a long day, to understand maybe things that someone else hasn't understand, the partnership. I mean, what do every
okay, but what about the duties? What about the duties of a wife?
As far as washing and things like that, and keeping a house maintained.
You don't have to talk about having 3 kids. Who's gonna cook for them?
Well, see, I do look at stuff like that. I do look at what's it called? Food prep. I look at food prep all the time. I'm constantly looking at.
Man, you can't cook.
Mom.
But when men say that we want a woman that can cook, like he said, we got to feed the children. You can't eat out all the time. I mean, you can, but you'll be broke. You see what I'm saying? You got to be able to cook for the family. Now, does that mean that the man doesn't cook at all? No, I like to cook. For me, I love to cook. I like to grill or whatever. My issue is that I don't always have the time to, right? But my wife holds it down for that.
Ma'am, you can't cook.
No, I can cook. I just need the ingredients.
Okay, I asked you. Could you cook? I asked you earlier. Can you cook?
She just need the ingredients,
bruh.
That's funny.
and you said, I can make macaroni. I got to call my grandma to get the recipe.
cooking
Stop.
Okay.
I listen very well. And I'm going to, no, I do this too. No, nope. I listen very well. And the bottom line is, man, maybe you were loyal. I guess you call it loyal because that's cool. Let's just give you loyal. I think
Okay.
I think you call being scared and stuck in a relationship loyal. You don't want to
Okay.
move. That don't make you loyal, and to have his back and all the other things.
Mhm.
Okay, but that's supposed to. That's just like him saying, "I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna work." That's what you're supposed to do.
It's part of your responsibility. That's what you are supposed to do. Now, here's where we get it misconstrued. Sometimes we get words mixed up. We think average is a bad thing when most people are average, right? That's just what it is. Most people are average, okay? Most people earn average money, okay? But she's in this situationship and she says that she was being loyal. She's loyal, but she's not being loyal to anything. She's putting her loyalty where it does not belong. And so now, if she continues to waste time, it's going to be that man's fault because she was loyal to him when he already proved that he wasn't serious about what he was talking about. Because he would have married her. Like the Godfather said, he was 34, 35. She was 22, 23 years old when they got together, right? Unless you plan on marrying that woman, leave her alone. That's where the good men come in at. And ladies, that's what we mean by pick better. Date with intention, not with hope.
What are the things he's
Okay.
supposed to pick you on as opposed to other women? And those are the variables. Like, I'm a great cook. I know how to. I'll be taking care of the kids. I can help homeschool this. I can do this. What kind of woman are you? You sound like almost sound like a roommate, a dude. And that's far. That's so. And you talk about independence. That's what so sadly so many women today are really very masculine, even though you.
Very masculine. And so many people say that all Kevin Samuels did was bash black women, down black women. That is the furthest thing from the truth. Do y'all see this young lady's face? Y'all see this woman's face? She's thinking. It's starting to click now. He's helping her. He's helping her think of it in a way that she otherwise wouldn't have thought about this. Maybe prior to her speaking to Kevin Samuels, maybe she would have kept this going. Y'all put a one in the chat if you think he's helping.
You're not being over the top and aggressive, you don't have the wife skills and you're not learning them. You're in a relationship that's going nowhere. You need to end that and decide what it is you want. Because if you want to be a wife with 3 kids, somebody has to take care of the kids. Cook
Facts.
for the kids, clean for the kids, prep for the kids, and everything else. This is what independence has gotten so many women today. Just thoroughly confused.
Thoroughly confused. The independent woman, right? If you had to be that for your kids and you made it, great. That is absolutely awesome. But don't choose to be that if you don't have to be. You don't have to be independent. This is again, this is what we mean when we say pick better. If you're a woman that has intentions and you want to date with intentions, you should not be dating another man that does not have the same mindset, that is not dating with intention. And you can find that out in the first couple months, really, a couple weeks of dating somebody if they're serious or not, if they want marriage to be on the table, right? Right? I think you absolutely can. But y'all, we're going to stop right there tonight. That's all I have for you. Thank y'all so much for joining us. And maybe I don't know when the next time we'll be back. We try to always be here on Tuesdays. And we will definitely be back on next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Who knows? You might see us back on Saturday. I don't know. I know I got some other things I need to do and some other pieces of content I need to drop that I've been promising y'all. But I promise you it is coming soon and very soon. Let me see what we got here. I have a question for with Pick Better. Go ahead and ask your question. Go ahead and ask your question before we get up out of here. Sleep 8301. Thank y'all so much for joining us. Gabrielle says, so many tried to weaponize Kevin Samuels' content. If you give it a listen right now, he's not saying anything wrong. Facts. Facts. Thank y'all so much for joining us. Y'all, it's your boy JD, aka Mr. December. I don't care where you are. I don't care what part of the world you in. I don't care what time zone you in, y'all. It's always summertime in NY, y'all. Peace.
It's my boo. I can make $250,000 off a haiku, and I can make another quarter off the times two. If it's money on the table, I'll be on it like Bobby or F. You PP aesthetic, it's hard to forget it. I hear you talking, but you're hardly right. I'm the voice of your prototype. Summertime and NY. I'm talking 6 a.m. tea times, 18 with the mayor talking land banks. I waited for it, gotta get mine. Snatch a seat up at the table if my man can't. Heading to a meeting with a million with no briefcase. Just my mind in a free state. I got a plan through a vision, but it takes time. I'ma make mine. Summertime in NY. Summertime in NY. In the back office, now I'm on the front. Call the shots, make the deal, know the deal, know what's up. Too much for the books, and I put it in a tuck. Too much for the tuck, then I give it to my love. Once I make $1 million, man, I know it'll be enough. Watch you fake the struggle while I get it off the hush. Now it's JetBlue miles, Rolex dials, frowns turn to smiles. Summertime and NY.